All right, we're going to walk you through the installation of the brand new Flashpaq for the 2019 through 2022 GM Silverado and Sierra trucks. This is for the 1500 that has the 5.3 liter or the 6.2 liter, and it will work in every transmission application, whether it's a 6-speed, an 8-speed, or a 10-speed. The cool thing with the new Flashpaq is that we have been able to release our Locksmith device that allows you to unlock the ECM and the TCM from your home garage with the device and the unlock hardware that we will ship you with the Flashpaq itself. So installing this is kind of revolutionary because you no longer have to remove the ECM from the vehicle. You don't have to send it across country somewhere to have it unlocked and opened up so that you can program it with that handheld tuner. So we've got our Flashpaq F5 that's been on the market for quite a few years now, but just releasing the at-home flashing for this 2019 and newer half-ton Chevy pickup. We've offered this tuning for well over a year now, but it's required the ECM be removed and sent to us to be unlocked and then sent back to you. Now you can do that right at home in your own driveway with our new device. So we're going to walk you through the installation process for this Flashpaq. First off, we're going to go ahead and install the device into our OBD2 port. Basically just plug it in right here under the dash. And then we're going to power up the vehicle without starting the engine. So with our foot off the brake, we're going to press and hold the start button for about 5 seconds or so. And the truck will power up. You see that we've got the Flashpaq is powered up as well. The dash is turned on. So we've got full power to the vehicle. So we're going to start off by going in to tune the vehicle. It's the first menu that pops up on the screen. It's telling us to turn the ignition on and press OK. It says attempting vehicle communications, please wait. So now it's loading the application. So what the device is doing now is talking to the ECM to get the VIN information, find out what operating system is in that ECM, what calibration it has. And then we're going to be able to go in and start the tune process. So we're going to select tune. It says to unlock, you must connect this device to the update agent to retrieve ECM support files for the vehicle. Once the files have been delivered, you may unlock. So at this point, the device has pulled the information it needs to from the vehicle, and we need to take our device back to a PC and plug into our update agent software so that we can send the files from here to our server, where we can grab the calibrations that are specific for your vehicle and deliver them to the device, so then we can come back and tune the vehicle. So we're going to press OK. It's going to reset the tuner, and we're going to shut the truck off and unplug this and then go right to our PC so we can deliver those files into the handheld. All right, so here we are at our PC. Since the whole idea behind the new Flashpaq and the at-home flashing is that this is simple enough that you can unlock the ECM and TCM at your home, we're actually doing this one at my personal home. So we got the truck in my garage. So we're going to walk you through this process so that you can feel confident doing it yourself. So I've got my laptop here, which is going to be connected to our Wi-Fi system. And we're right here on Superchip's website, right on the home page. So if you don't already have our update agent software, you can download it right here from our website. So right on the home page, right here, we've got this section that says supports and updates right in the middle of the page. We're going to select that. And as we scroll down, you'll see some options here on the page. Fusion software, update agent for Mac, My Style, data viewer, update agent 1.0 for PC, and data viewer. We're going to go ahead and download this update agent for PC. If you have Mac, obviously there's a Mac option. So you can click on that. It's going to download that software onto your computer so that you have the software we need to access the server so we can deliver you the calibrations that you need. This computer obviously already has that installed. So we're going to open that update agent software up. Let's see, where's it hidden here? Update agent. All right, so here's the software that you're gonna have downloaded. It's asking us to connect the device. So we've got our Flashpaq, we've got the update cable that came with the Flashpaq in the box, and we just need to plug it in here at the bottom of the device. Once we plug it in, you'll see that the Flashpaq will power up. And our computer will automatically recognize that device has been plugged in. Now it's going to check that device. You'll see that the update agent software has pulled our part number on the device. It's also pulled the serial number, so we know we've got connection to the device. Now it's going to check for some updates here. All right, so now it's gone through our server. It's recognized that there's files in this device that we need to deliver the updates to the device. We're going to go ahead and select yes. The GM Unlock has been delivered to the, please connect to the TCM, okay. Unlock. So now it's going to download those files. It says it was able to get the operating system onto the device. Select okay. It's going to download the rest of the files now. And this will take a few minutes to get everything we need from our servers into your handheld. All right, I was able to get the stock files. I'll select OK. All right, transmission file operating system, select OK. All right, it's going to reboot the device. It says press the OK button on your device for 3 seconds in order to finish the update. So we're going to press and hold our OK button on the Flashpaq. You'll see the screen change and say rebooting. And then our PC is going to have to re-recognize that device is plugged in. Which is done now. And as soon as the device is up to date, it's going to launch our Ignition store, where you can actually purchase an extended warranty for the Flashpaq for $19.95. We're not going to do that right now for our video, so we're actually going to be able to close that store. You'll see that it says that our device is up to date, so we can close our update agent and then unplug our Flashpaq and go back to the truck to begin our tuning and unlocking process. All right, so we're back in the truck. We're going to plug back into that OBD2 port. Our device is going to power up. We're going to press and hold that engine start button again so we can power up the truck without starting it. Again, we're back to our main menu, so we're going to select tune once again. Turn the ignition on, press OK. That's going to make that communications again so we can tune the vehicle. It says the vehicle's E90 engine controller is locked. To enable tuning, follow the included guide for connecting to E90 unlock cable. You may install the cable now. All right, so our ECM is actually located right behind this inner fender liner. So to get access, we're going to turn this tire so we get a little bit better access to that ECM. We're going to start the truck up. We're going to turn that wheel all the way to the left, and then we're going to come back just slightly so it's not at a full lock. Okay, so here we are. We've got the fender liner dropped down, and you'll find that ECM is hiding right there behind it. So first off, we need to go in and disconnect these 3 connectors that are on the ECM here. You'll see that there's a red keeper on each one of them. You can just pop your fingernail inside that red keeper and pull it towards you, and then you can press your thumb on the center of that connector right here to depress it, and then lift that lever to disengage it, and you'll need to do that to all 3 of those. All right, so we're gonna pull that red keeper, depress the center with our thumb, and that lever will release. Pull the lever all the way to disconnect that connector. Kind of have to wiggle it to get it to disengage fully. Just like that. Now we'll move on to the next one. Pull that red keeper, depress with our thumb, and pull the lever. These are obviously a tight fit because they have to be weather tight to make sure they keep the moisture out of these connectors. And there's our second one, and then we'll move on to the last one. Again, that red keeper, depress the center with our thumb, And pull the lever. All right, so we've got all 3 of our connectors removed from the ECM, and in our Locksmith instructions it says we can install our ECM Unlock cable at this point. So this is the connector that has the 2 large ECM connectors on it. Get this untangled here. And you'll see that they're color coded. So we've got to put our green connector on that top connector and the blue connector on the bottom. Get that fully engaged and then close that lever. Now, these connectors do have that red keeper, but we don't need to close that keeper during this unlock process because we're going to be removing this here in just a minute, so we're not worried about it coming loose when we're driving or anything like that. So we're not going to close that keeper, but we're going to put our unlock cable on to the ECM, and then you'll see that we've got the connection here that'll go onto our locksmith, and then the other end of that unlock cable has 2 alligator clips on it that we need to run up through the fender liner up into the engine bay, and we're going to run across the engine over to the battery so that we can get battery power to our locksmith for this unlock step. All right, so here we are at the battery on the passenger side. We've got our alligator clips from our ECM connector. We need to attach to our positive post and then a negative. At this point, we're also going to recommend that you put the truck on a battery tender or a battery charger just to make sure that we keep enough voltage through the system to go through the unlock process without any errors. If the voltage drops too far, the power weir and our Flashpaq device may not have what it needs to complete the entire unlock process. So it is a really good idea to get the truck on a battery tender or a battery charger at this step as well. So we're going to take our negative black jaws, and there is an actual grounding post right here on the inside of the fender liner, or you can go right to the battery here as well. Then we're going to take that positive one and open that slide cover, and we've got access right there to the positive post. Then we're going to grab our battery charger and install it as well. Okay, so with the unlock cable installed, we can take the locksmith box that came with the kit and plug it in to that connector that's right there in that fender liner. You'll see that that connector can only go one way. You just want to make sure that it plugs in and clicks, so it has a good connection. And then we can take our Flashpaq and plug it into the OBD2 connection on the other side of that locksmith device. Make sure that it's good and tight, and you'll see that our Flashpaq has now powered up through the locksmith. You'll hear that locksmith clicking, the relay inside it clicking a couple of times. The device itself is now checking for the requirements. It says it's ready to begin the engine unlock process. This process will take up to 20 minutes, so make sure your vehicle's battery has a good charge. That's why we recommend putting it on a battery tender or a battery charger, just so we can make sure we keep the voltage healthy for this process. So we're going to go ahead and select OK to continue. It's going to prepare the unlock. Again, you'll hear the handheld make a couple of noises, and that relay will click a couple of times on the locksmith, and you can see it's now starting to do that E90 unlock. So this is going to take about 15 to 20 minutes to go through all of these steps. So we're just going to set the tuner right here beside the truck, and then we're going to turn off the camera so we can speed up this process and get to the next step. All right, so we're back. You can see that we're at 100% on installing the 6th of the 6 files. So it's going to finalize that ECM unlock process. Tells us that the unlock's been complete. So we're going to select OK. It says remove the unlock cable and reconnect the vehicle's connectors to the ECM. If there is another module to unlock, connect its unlock cable now. If not, plug the tuner into the vehicle's OBD2 port. So basically what that's telling us is that we can remove the ECM unlock cable. We can reconnect those 3 factory wiring harness connectors into the ECM, but because this is an 8-speed, or if you have a 10-speed, we need to move on to do the TCM unlock next. If it's a 6-speed truck, you can then just move back into the cab and start flashing with the Flashpaq. So we're going to remove that unlock cable, reconnect our connectors, and then we're going to get access to the TCM so we can do that unlock step next. So we're going to select OK. We're going to set the device down, and then we're going to go ahead and unplug the device from that locksmith. And we're going to set our Flashpaq aside. We're going to unplug the locksmith from the unlock cable and set it aside, and then we can disconnect at the battery. Push these back down through here. And then we can unplug those connectors from the ECM, just like we did the originals, pressing in the middle, opening up that lever. And it's just that easy to remove the unlock cable. And then we can reinstall the factory connectors. We'll reposition the camera so you can get a better view of all that. Okay, so we're going to reconnect these 3 connectors, starting with the bottom one. Make sure it's seated. Push that lever back and then close that red keeper. Move on to the middle one. Same thing, and then that top one. It's seated all the way. Close that keeper. Now we need to get to the TCM so that we can unlock that module on this 8-speed truck. The TCM is actually mounted on the back side of this, so we need to remove these 2 bolts that are right here on the ECM mount bracket, and then there's a third one that's located underneath the bracket right here on the bottom side. We've already removed that third one for sake of speeding up this installation video. Go ahead and get these other 2 out. This is a 10mm bolt, so just our 1/4-inch ratchet is all we needed here. All right, again, there's that third bolt on the bottom side you'll have to remove before you can do anything here, but with those out, we can then basically swing the ECM backwards, and you'll see the TCM right here on the front side. Let's get the little more angle here. Here you can see the TCM right here on the back side of that bracket. So just like the ECM, it has a connector with a red keeper on it. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to pull that red keeper back with our fingernail. We're going to depress the center of that connector, and that lever will open up, and we can disengage that connector on that TCM and wiggle that connector loose. Now we're going to grab our other unlock harness that we have not used yet and install it in the same manner as that ECM connector. Make sure that it bottoms out on that connector, makes a good secure contact. And then you're able to close that lever until it clicks. And then we're gonna do the same thing by running those alligator clips up to the engine bay so that we can power up off of that battery once again. Now we can reposition our camera because we're going to unlock the TCM from the engine bay. All right, so we've run our TCM unlock cable across the engine. We still have our battery tender connected to the truck. So we're going to get our positive connection and then get our ground connection on that post on the fender liner. And we're going to take our Locksmith device, plug it back into the TCM unlock cable. And then we can take our Flashpaq and plug it into the locksmith. Again, make sure it's fully seated. You'll see that the Flashpaq is powered up. You'll hear the locksmith relay clicking. That way you know it's getting powered like it's supposed to. The device is checking the requirements for the unlock process. It says it's ready for transmission unlock. This process may take up to 10 minutes. Make sure your vehicle's battery has a good charge. If you're ready to continue, press OK. You'll hear the relay click a few times. It's going to prepare for the unlock. Now it's going to start walking through the unlock process. Now the TCM Unlock is much quicker than the ECM. So this only takes a couple of minutes, whereas that ECM took 15 or 16 minutes to go through the entire process. So we can stay online with the video here while it goes through the unlock. And at this point we can talk about the TCM, the trans tuning. For a while we've been doing engine tuning in these exact trucks, the 2019 through 2022 5.3 and 6.2 trucks. But this is the first we've been able to do the TCM. This is all brand new, and it completely changes the way that these vehicles drive. Being able to hold those shifts out a little bit longer, stay in the power band a little longer, change the firmness of those shifts, the converter lockup strategies. It completely changes the way these trucks drive and tow, especially. I think you guys will really learn to like the new shift strategies that are built into the Flashpaq tuning. Just an overall better driving experience. And it's revolutionary. Be able to tune that 8-speed and the 10-speed in these trucks is just something that nobody else is doing. And so to be able to get that transmission tuning, to get the engine tuning so that you've got a little better performance from the engine, you can expect a little bit better fuel economy, much better throttle response, and then with the engine tuning and the trans tuning working together, you'll fall in love with that Silverado all over again. And then obviously there's other features that are built into the device that are really nice. The ability to disable the engine auto start stop feature. Remember your button settings for your drive mode. So if you've got a vehicle that's got the sport mode and you like driving in sport mode, it'll remember that you shut the truck off in sport mode, and it'll be in sport mode when you start the truck back up to drive it again. We also have the ability to disable your active fuel management or your dynamic fuel management, so you're no longer dropping cylinders. In a cruise situation, it'll just keep it in a V8 all the time, which has been proven to extend the life of the engines. That AFM system and DFM system has plagued these motors with maintenance issues. So being able to just turn that system off so it remains a V8, so you keep all the power all the time. There's no more delay when you get into the throttle waiting for those other cylinders to reactivate. I mean, they just drive so much better. And then we can obviously do things that Flashpaq and FlashCals have always been able to do, like tire size adjustment. We can make some changes with TPMS settings, that sort of stuff. So, I mean, it's a feature-packed product, and it's really the only thing on the market that gives you everything you need to tune that truck at home. So, I mean, like I said, we're doing this unlock process right here in the garage. We didn't remove the ECM from the truck. We didn't remove the TCM from the truck. We didn't have to ship anything anywhere. We purchased the Flashpaq off of the Superchips website or from a Superchips dealer or retailer. It comes with the device, it comes with the unlock hardware, it comes with the locksmith that you need. You can come right home and do this entire flash process yourself at home. The other beautiful thing about this whole process is that the unlocks are only required to be done one time, the very first time we do this. So unlocking that ECM and unlocking the TCM, removing that fender liner, we only need to do it once. Once it's been unlocked, we will never need to use the locksmith or the unlock cables again. All of our flashing, if we're changing tunes, returning to factory, whatever it's done, we want to do, can be done with just the Flashpaq in the cab of the truck. So flashing from this point forward is much easier, much quicker. And this is only a one-time labor experience. So that locksmith and the unlock cables can be put away, or, I mean, you're not going to use them ever again. So the process just gets easier once we're unlocked and into those modules. All right, so we're at a 100% on that second file. The unlock is complete. We're going to press OK to continue, and it says remove the unlock cable and reconnect the connector to the TCM. If there's another module to unlock, connect it now. If not, you can plug this into the OBD port. So we've completed our ECM unlock. We've completed our TCM unlock. So we can now unplug from the locksmith and set the Flashpaq aside. We're going to disconnect our locksmith from that TCM harness. We're going to disconnect our battery terminals here. Run that cable back over to the fender well. And then we're also going to take our battery tender off since we're done with that process. Close this up and we can close our hood and move into the cab and start flashing the performance tunes into this truck. So we're done with the TCM unlock. We just need to remove our unlock harness. Again, press that center tab with our button with our thumb. That lever will release. We need to open it all the way. Disconnect our connector, and we are done with our unlock harnesses. Never to be seen or used again. We can reconnect our factory TCM connector. Close that lever till it clicks, and then close that red keeper. And then we can move that TCM or that ECM and TCM back into its position and put our mounting bolts back in to secure it. Get these two on the back side secure, and then we can go under and tighten up that third one that's on the bottom side. At this point, we are done outside of the truck and can move into the cab to flash the truck. So we can reinstall our fender liner, put those Torx screws back into the fender liner. We're done under the hood, we're done in the fender, and we can just tune it from the cab now. Okay, so we've completed our ECM and our TCM unlock steps. We've got everything back to original, the fender liner's reinstalled. We can come back into the truck and now we can start flashing it, put those performance tunes into the truck for both the engine and the transmission. So we're going to plug in to the OBD2 port. You'll see the device power up here. We're going to select tune. We're going to turn our ignition on without starting the truck. So we've got our foot off the brake, press and hold the start button for about 5 seconds. You'll see your dash and everything will power up. We're going to select OK once we're powered up. We're going to tell it to tune vehicle. That's going to verify the stock file integrity. All right, so now we've been given the options of what we have to install. So for this application, we've got stock, so there's be no performance gains whatsoever with just options, so we can make some changes to the factory file. We've got our mileage excess save tune. This is good for fuel economy, daily driving. That's where you'll see your best fuel mileage changes, but it's not picking up a whole lot of power. We've got our 87 octane tune. Obviously, this requires you to run 87 octane, but it will bump the horsepower up a little bit, give you a little bit better performance, but still great for a daily driver, really good for fuel economy and some performance mixed in. We've got our tow file, which is recommended to be run on 91 octane so you can get the best performance out of that engine while you're towing. And then we've got our all-out performance tune, which is also a 91 octane tune. So to get the most out of those two tunes, we recommend running 91 octane. For this particular application, we're going to install our 87 octane tune. So we're going to select it and press OK. You'll see the 87 octane is designed for non-towing application. 87 octane or higher fuel is required. So we're going to select OK. The Flashpaq's going to grab that calibration from it, and it's asking us if we want to customize the options, the left arrow for no or the OK for yes. So we're going to go in and customize this calibration. And we've got all these different things that we can adjust, so you can kind of fine tune our preloaded tuning so you can customize it for your specific application. We can change the rev limiter. We can go in and change your speed limiter. So with the factory speed limiter, we can actually set that at a raised value. I believe in this application, we set it at like 200 miles an hour, so you won't ever have to run into that speed limiter again. You can change your gear ratio. The only reason you would ever need to change that is if you've actually changed your ring and pinion. So if you've changed the factory gear set to a different gear ratio, you can go in and set that. That'll allow it to calibrate the speedometer to read correctly. Same thing with tire size. We don't need to modify anything here unless we've changed our factory tire size. This truck is still stock, so we don't need to make any changes, but if you've put a lift on it, gone to some 33s or some 35s, you can change that tire size here so your speedometer will read correctly. The one thing to remember is that you want to measure the height of that tire with a tape measure. If you've installed 35 1250s, you'll find that they're not actually 35 inches tall. They're usually only about 33.5 once they're mounted and balanced and on the truck. So input the actual measured height to get the most accurate speedo. We're going to go ahead and exit, so it's not changing there. The AFM DOD, so this is the active fuel management. So this is where we can actually disable the active fuel management so that it stays in 8 cylinders all the time. So we're going to go ahead and set that. Our keep drive mode, this is what we talked about a little bit earlier. This will remember our previous button setting. So if we like driving around in this vehicle in tow haul, or we like driving around in the sport mode, it's going to remember that we were in sport mode when we shut the truck off. So when we restart the truck, it'll be in sport mode again. So you won't ever have to reach over and turn that knob every time you start the vehicle. Same with our auto start stop feature. It will save our button setting. So if you're someone that gets in the truck, starts it, reaches over and hits that auto start stop button so that the truck's not shutting off when you come to a stop, this will remember that you've pressed that button when you started the truck. So whatever you left that button in when you shut the truck off, it will be there when you turn the truck back on when you go through another key cycle. So it's going to remember that we disabled it, and it's just going to keep the auto start stop function disabled all the time unless you go over and press that button on the dash, and then it's going to work like factory. So it's just going to remember the previous setting. One of the favorite features for most of our users is the throttle boost feature. In this, we can go in and we can set that throttle pedal sensitivity. So these trucks have a lot of built-in pedal lag. So there's a little bit of a delay. You really have to give it a lot of throttle before it really feels like it does anything, before it starts to accelerate. So we give you the ability to go in and change that sensitivity in 5% increments all the way up to 50% over stock. This is completely driver preference. So you may have to do some trial and error, try different settings to get the pedal feel that you like the best. Me personally, I have found that anywhere between 20 and 25% is a good mix between a good solid response pedal without it being too aggressive and jumpy off an idle. If you like a really aggressive pedal, you can turn that thing all the way up to 50%. But again, some trial and error may be needed here, so that you can find that setting that feels best for the way you drive the vehicle. We're going to set this one at 25%. We can change our idle park RPM. We can change our drive, idle, and drive RPM. We're going to go ahead and leave those where they're at and select continue. So now the device is going to build the calibration with the changes that we've made. If we've adjusted that tire size, if we've disabled the AFM system, it's going to go ahead and build that tune file with the changes that we've customized into our pre-calibrated. And then it's going to go ahead and tell us that we can write that calibration into the ECM. Takes just a minute or so to compile that tune. It says, do you want to install the 87 file? We're going to select yes. It's going to establish the communications with the vehicle, and then it's going to start writing that flash into the ECM. And then it's also going to install that the Flashpaq's TCM file for this specific calibration. This again takes a couple of minutes. All right, now it's going to prepare to program that TCM. So we're going to get our calibrations into the transmission so that we can get this 8-speed to work like it should from the factory. We get better shift performance, a better shift feel, better converter lockup strategy. And then we're able to carry those RPMs out a little bit later at wide open throttle, so you can really get into that power curve of this motor. For the 5.3 guys, we're picking up really good gains, real big gains through the mid-range. You will definitely feel it in the mid-range when you're trying to pass somebody on the freeway. And then for the 6.2 guys, obviously those 6.2s already run really, really well and make really good power from the factory. But the Flashpaq calibrations will definitely improve on that. We've seen as much as like 40 horsepower in the mid-range. It depends on the situation, but the power and torque curves are much better than factory, and it's something that you can definitely feel from the seat. And then when you package it with the TCM tuning, everything just works better. it is completely different the way you will feel that power get applied to the ground when you're passing, when you're towing. There's just a much broader torque curve, and that shift strategy, it just works really well together. And we really think that you guys will appreciate the way your Silverado or your Sierra runs with that Flashpaq tuning installed. So I'm going to take a minute here to go through that TCM download. We'll let it do its thing. The device is finishing that TCM installation. It wants us to turn off our ignition, so we're going to just press that start button to power down the vehicle. We're going to select OK. It says open, close, and lock the driver's side door, waiting for the ECM to fully shut down to avoid DTCs. So we're going to go ahead and open, close that door, and then we're going to hit our lock button. And now we're going to wait about a minute for the ECM to fully power down. All right, the tuning has been installed, so we have now installed our Flashpaq tuning into our Silverado. We can select OK. At this point, you can unplug the device from the OBD2 port. You can go ahead and start the truck up and go out and do some driving and experience that added power. But there are a couple of things we can show you with this device. We'll unplug it and power it back up, and we'll show you the quick options. And then we have the ability to read and clear diagnostic trouble codes with this, so we can show you how we can make some of those feature adjusts. So just like before, we've plugged it back into the OBD2 port. We're going to press our start button and hold it for a couple of seconds so we can power up. Now if we go back into that tune menu, we're not going to actually change our tuning, but we can go into our quick options that's listed here, and this is where we can make some other changes that don't require reflashing the ECM. So we can change our TPMS settings front and rear, so we can change that threshold at what PSI our light comes on the dash. So if you've got an aftermarket set of wheels and tires, you can lower that threshold so that the light doesn't come on at the factory setting. We can change our RPM idle up. We can do a relearn on our air filter life, a transmission relearn. That's all done right there through the quick options. In our scan mode, we can actually go in and read and clear trouble codes. We've got gauges and data logs, so we can actually power this up while we're driving the vehicle, and it will display some different parameters that you don't see on your factory dash. So you can actually do some data logging. We can see our battery voltage there. And then we've obviously got our device info, so we can check the vehicle info and the device info on the product itself. So there's a lot of stuff that you can do with the device. Gives you some peace of mind that you can do some diagnostics on your own by reading and checking some codes. If you ever have a light come on, you don't have to go into a dealership or stop by a repair shop to see what's going on under the hood. You can clear that code right here with the device. And then again, if you ever want to change the tune, you're going to put some 91 octane in it, you want to get all that performance out of it, go into the tune. It's going to select get communication with the vehicle. You can go in and select tune vehicle. Once it connects, it'll go through and it'll show you all of those other tunes that we had to choose from, and you can reflash from the current 87 octane right to the performance tune. You can return to stock at this point. You can do everything you need right here from the handheld, and we do not need to do that ECM and TCM unlock process ever again. So everything's done with the Flashpaq. So we really hope that you guys enjoy that new Flashpaq tuning, enjoy your truck some more. Get out and have some fun with that added horsepower and that throttle sensitivity improvement. If you get one of these installed, please be sure to make mention of it on your social media channels. We love getting feedback. We love getting user conversation going on how you feel the tunes work and what it changed for your vehicle. We love getting feedback, good or bad. We like to hear it so that we can make sure that we're offering the absolute best calibrations and easiest full functioning devices on the market. So we appreciate you following along the installation. If you have further questions, you can obviously reach out to our tech support team. You can visit our website and our social media channels for more information about the product and what it's capable of doing. But we look forward to hearing from you, and we really appreciate your business.